if you're going to tell anybody your stuff, you should be quick about it. Just, especially if it's bad. Just, you know, like my mom and dad got me out of an adoption home in Shreveport. My dad bribed the priest for $500 to get a kid because they were too old because they had been in the canning factories during World War II. And then they got me, but they also adopted my big brother, and he was a psychopath. Demons are real. I'm telling you, he was scary, tried to drown me twice in the city pool, also tried to smother me every night. You can learn how to deep breathe like the death rattle to hide from your brothers. It's true, and all your cousins are male, and they all take their heads off your Barbies and bury them in the backyard, and you're not supposed to be traumatized, so you used to play outside, Jacks, but you weren't fast enough, so they would still bury the Barbies' heads, and then you would play with little mealy rolly bugs and the sunshine and hope that you weren't allergic to the grass that was turning your knees red, and then you grew up and you went to LSU and you flunked out because you were really supposed to be an actor instead of a speech pathologist. And then they took you to Texas and you were discovered on the runway, and you went to New York City, and then they made you a model, and you were, and it was good, and everybody tried to fuck you because you were blonde, and you were from the South, and you didn't know anything, but anyway, they put you in magazines, and that was a lot of stuff. And then they took you to another place called Paris, France, where you were supposed to know French because you're from here, and you don't know fucking French. And you go there, and you speak 200-year-old French, and you go to the left walk because there's a guy following you on the train, and you run up to the police, and you say, excuse me, somebody's following me. And they say, what's the problem? And you say, you're sweeping my police because you think you can speak French. And he falls down on the ground with 7 cops laughing at you, the gendarme. And I said, what's so funny? And they said, you just had a bad leg. Because it's 200-year-old French, it doesn't mean the same thing after a while, but you eat snails and everything, you have a good time, and then you find out that chicken tastes like fish there because they feed their chickens fish. And so that's a bit strange. And the agent there was very nice. Johnny Casablanca said, I live for New York. These are the biggest agents in the world. And also, he has a little pee-pee because I saw it. Because they invited me over to his apartment the first night. They opened the door and all the girls in the back were, giggling and stuff. And it was just this big, but it stayed hard the whole night. I saw it. I don't know what he did for that, but that's apparently the French thing. Okay, never mind. And then they sent me to London and to Germany because I wouldn't fuck them. But listen, the Arabs were there, and they were very nasty, and they would give us jewelry at dinner parties. It was really scary, and I think they were arms dealers. And I wanted to come over and tell the FBI about that, but they said, no, that's the CIA, and I couldn't get that straight either. So then I came back to America, and they would do commercials. And that first one, I was like singing, and I sold Comet and stuff, and they said, oh, you found your niche. Okay, fine. And so then I got pregnant, oopsie. And so if you're a model and you're a photographer, that thing's happened. And so then I had Lee. So he was my first one. And then I got this contract at ABC. And then I went to, are you tired yet? Do you want me to keep going? You do. Dude, all right. So then I went to Los and then I did a sitcom, and it was with Melba Moore, and you're too young, and you don't know what a newspaper is anyway. But listen, in the newspapers, that was in the old days when they would take long rolls of paper, and they would put ink on it, and they would fold it up and use child labor to throw it at your house. That's the newspaper. Anyway, the sitcom was with Melba Moore, which is for ABC, and I got a comedy contract, and I thought they would write for me, but they didn't. They just wrote for Melba. And then it got touted in the newspaper as the worst sitcom in the history of television, in the history of television. I got that, and then I was at this dinner party way out in the past with all these things in this guy that I thought was I was going to get engaged to. He was really tall, 6'5", and I thought he was safe, but he was a cocaine addict. Anyway, so we were there, and we were having dinner, and this guy says, yeah, I wrote this sitcom that won the worst award in the history of sitcoms. And I thought, oh shit, do I tell him that it was me? I was on it? But yes, I did. Of course I did. I told him because I overshare. This is another thing. There's a lot of traffic in Los Angeles, and I didn't know really how to drive that fast, but I was on the 405, and there was this guy following me, and he put his hands almost through my windshield. I thought maybe I could get like a self-driving car. Anyway, he put his hands through, driving like this, but luckily the week before I had been at the DMV, and they told me I needed glasses. And so I got glasses, and I went back and I read the pamphlet, and it said exactly what to do in those situations. It said if a guy is following you too close, you take your foot off the accelerator so the guy knows to go around you. That's really quick, scary. Let's play Mortal Kombat. So he did. He went all the way around me like this. Get off your phone, bitch. So I had to put it down. So he got in front of me, and then he started breaking like this. And so he was trying to get me into one of those fender bender things, but because I looked like a woman with car insurance.